Hello everybody and welcome to Key Digital's online training, Level 1 Part 1, an Introduction to Key Digital. And since this is Level 1 Part 1, we'd like to take just a quick moment to thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to learn about Key Digital, our unique solutions, our unique approach to the market, and thank you for trusting Key Digital as a valuable resource for knowledge and information on the industry today. We're going to talk not only about our products that we engineer, we're not only going to talk about the sort of solutions and applications that they enable, but we're also going to discuss what's happening in the industry over the past few years and into the next few years, as Key Digital is certainly a company with the sight into the future, and many of our partners view us in this light, and we certainly appreciate that and thank you, and we believe that after this training, you too will view Key Digital as a valuable resource for knowledge on the industry. We'll talk a lot about things that have happened and again things that will happen, and spend a lot of our time throughout this course, these courses rather, discussing, say, namely the transition to digital and the future of video installation and switching, distribution, etc. through these courses. Thank you very much, and without further ado, let's begin. And we'd like to remind you all, please keep your notebooks handy, pens, papers, any questions you may have. We'd be happy to start a dialogue with you. You could send your inquiries, questions, comments, etc. to training@keydigital.com. So again, without further ado, let's start with Level 1, Part 1, an Introduction to Key Digital. And when we start discussing Key Digital with you and the company and our history, we always like to start with Mike Sandberg, the fearless leader of Key Digital, if you will. Mike is the president and chief engineer of Key Digital, and just by Googling the name Mike Sandberg, you see you can begin, for somebody perhaps with a limited knowledge on Key Digital and our history here, you could see why we at Key Digital are viewed in such great light as an engineering company, and not only a company that designs and engineers all of our products, but the person who is engineering those products is Mike Sandberg. Not a product goes through Key Digital without Mike having his 2 cents on it. Very active in our engineering department, as well as overseeing how the company is run. And again, by Googling that name, Mike comes up very notably as the father of DVD. He's actually the #1 video patent holder in the world. Again, most notably his work for DVD. He was with Toshiba in the late 80s, and he was head of research and development for the project that was DVD. There are 5 engineers listed on the patent for DVD, excuse me, and it's not for alphabetical reasons. As you can see, his name starts with T, that Mike is listed first on that patent as head of research and development. 2 other notable patents that Mike is involved in. Actually, before his time at Philips, or excuse me, at Toshiba, Mike was at Philips, where he is actually the one and only engineer listed on the patent for the ATSC signal, which is high definition as it's utilized here stateside and beyond, and also DTV, which the entire country had to transition to not long ago, just a few years back now. DTV, another one of Mike's notable accomplishments, and actually has a total of 40 patents under his belt. Mike does. Mike is also an SMPTE Sympathy Fellow. That's the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. And you can just see some of the, by looking at the time frame here, some of the things that Mike was involved with, and even as it correlates to the evolution in our industry at Key Digital, as he founded Key Digital in 1999. So actually in 12, even 13 years now, depending on when you're viewing this training content, Mike has actually, or Key Digital has really been branded as a leader in digital video technology. We're a company that we view ourselves as having an edge because we've always been based in a digital platform versus a lot of other companies where certainly there are newer companies out there maybe have, you never know if they're going to be around 2-3 years from now. A lot of fly-by-nights in the industry right now. A lot of people find comfort in the fact, a lot of installers, dealers, our partners on all fronts really find comfort in the fact that we have been around for 12, 13 years, and we're not going anywhere here at Key Digital, with an ambitious plan for growth within the next few years, and certainly some of those products we will discuss. We certainly offer that advantage, yet at the same time, there are companies, of course, that are older, yet we find ourselves at an advantage because a lot of these companies that were based in the analog platform and were founded based on analog technologies, certainly with the transition to digital, you would agree, there have been a number of issues and problems in that transition to digital. As we look at Key Digital here, looking at some of the notable accomplishments of the company over the years, and these accomplishments of Key Digital here, if you take a look at this timeline, the accomplishments of Key Digital and where they lie in time versus the or in comparison with the evolution in the industry as a whole. For example, when we enabled the Pioneer Elite flat panel displays to which are fantastic displays, they did not have HDMI ports on them whatsoever. They did not have any HDMI ports on them, and yet at that time there were certainly HDMI sources available, as you can see, brought to the market by Toshiba, in fact, yet the high definition display not having the HDMI input connection, and that's something Key Digital was able to bridge. And even at the back of, in the beginning of the company, what the first significant sale that really enabled Key Digital to grow today, as you can see, we were the first HD video distribution product enabling all the Best Buy retail locations across the country to have HD TV on their video floors, on their display floors. And certainly that was something that was a fantastic product that Key Digital made. That was all in the component video realm. And nowadays you see a lot of this is actually in even the F connector type place. Well, you see, and you'll hear about throughout this training, Key Digital's efforts across the country and beyond in bringing these retail applications and these retail storefronts to full HDMI technologies. It's certainly something that Key Digital is able to deliver. One source with 100+ displays, not a problem, so long as you have the design created by Key Digital's system design group. Again, not to allude to too much later in the conversation here, but really no problem whatsoever with this because of our unique handshake handling. And now we're able to bring a lot of, starting with the mom and pops, the regional retailers, and now the national retailers, to a fully digital HDMI 1080p capable, 3D capable retail showroom, where of course these retailers have been selling that for years and years, yet not practicing what they preach in some ways. Very good. Now as we look here at Key Digital, and these are some of our most notable series out there. We've always had a way of presenting our products with marketing names, series names that have been very successful in keeping the Key Digital branding very relevant. Oftentimes you'll hear, for example, dealers, installers referring to our products not as by the exact model number, but instead by the marketing name, for example, the Fat Boy series. So let's take a look at some of our most notable series available today. Whenever you see the Fat Cat series, these are all Cat 5e, Cat 5e, Cat 6 Balun devices. Fat Cat series, analog and digital balance, HDMI, component, VGA, composite, even analog only. And many of these products even not only offer the video and the audio, but also bidirectional IR, RS-232, even Ethernet extension over a single Cat cable. The HD Python series is our HDMI cables with top-of-the-line offerings, the latest speeds, features, the latest and greatest across the board, all of the support of the latest standards. never having to worry about, does Key Digital have a cable that perhaps doesn't support a standard? They all do, and we make them for in-wall and out-of-wall installations. The Phantom series, digital video and audio switchers, distribution amplifiers, matrices, all in the HDMI realm. That really, when they came out, the point of this product was, and it's certainly been very successful, was releasing a Key Digital product that delivers that Key Digital software and hardware suite, making HDMI headache free, all of the handshake handlings that are necessary that we'll discuss later in the trainings and throughout different parts of this level 1 and beyond, and delivering those to the marketplace at a price point that traditionally you would not find a Key Digital product available at. So that's the Phantom series. We hop over to the top right here. You have the Hot Rod series, which is video processors, switchers, scalers of any sort of input format being scaled at your desired resolution and output format type. The Black Bull series and the Green Dragon series are exclusive offerings that Key Digital has manufactured for one of our distribution partners. And anytime you see those series, you know that they're, of course, designed, engineered, and manufactured at the same standards, same very high standards as any of our other products, with absolutely no sacrificing of features and reliability. And then certainly our flagship series currently, the Hercules series, which is matrixing, and we'll discuss what exactly that means for some of you who may not be familiar. Matrixing not only of video and audio, but also significantly extending the reach of your control system by adding bidirectional IR and RS-232 through the Matrix product, acting as a router for control signals. And that's something that the Hercules series has delivered now for multiple years in the industry. And then the Fat Boy series, which again, talking about flagships, certainly carried that flag for Key Digital for probably 5, 6, 7 years or so. The Fat Boy series was really a series of matrix that was just in every type of installation possible, whether it be residential or commercial. It's a product that the installers, the dealers became very familiar with because it worked every time. Very nice, very robust product. However, when you compare it with the Hercules adding the control routing capabilities and these sorts of things, really you can see in today's day and age how the Hercules series has become that flagship product for Key Digital. Also, something that certainly is going to create a buzz, and we're very excited to be able to even just discuss it with you in brief during this training. You will, we're very confident you will be soon be introduced. Also, a series at Key Digital that you will all soon be familiar with is the Compass Control series of products. It is a control system that has been under development here at Key Digital for 4+ years. Something that enables your eye devices to become your interface for control system. Something that we believe is going to be the best control product and control system available in the market once it is released, and many of our beta testers at this point are certainly agreeing with us. Okay, now as we were alluding to earlier, one of the verticals that Key Digital is very prominent in is the electronics retailers, and enabling systems that allow you to have one HDMI fully HDCP device at the head end and distributing that signal to X amount of displays. And X could certainly mean just about any number. We like to think of it staying within 3 layers, and we have a 1x8 type device at the head end, meaning you could have 8 cubed, I believe 512 displays. I haven't done the math lately, so you can do the math on a calculator there as you're following along with today's course, 8x8x8, and certainly Key Digital can deliver HDMI systems that large without any issues whatsoever. And we see here how we're able to make these work with one of our partners, one of our dealers, Flanners Electronics in Wisconsin. They had presented Key Digital with a unique scenario, telling us that they had to be out of their existing store and into their new store within a period of about 2 to 3 weeks. And Mr. Ron Lemke, who is, as you see here, the senior custom systems specialist at Flanners Home Entertainment, came to Key Digital, asked us, if we could enable a system this large, and B, if we can do it in the time frame described. And so from that point on, we basically asked for a storeroom layout, and our system design group went to work on the task of designing this system so as to enable perfect 1080p distribution to, in this case, I believe it was 60+ displays. And it's actually something that we're able to do with our system design group, where we map out the system, and we could do this sort of system in a way that is actually quite cost effective, because as you can see by this design example, although it not our traditional layout, it reads from top to bottom. You have a minimal amount of gear on the front end, and you use a Cat5 Balun device to then distribute that signal X amount of ways to X amount of displays located within short distance that is reachable with just a standard HDMI cable, versus having 60+ baluns for 60+ displays with all of the distribution gear at the head end. This sort of star pattern really can enable some very large systems, and only Key Digital can deliver that because of the handshake handling, the handshaking that Key Digital is able to deliver, where the authentication of the source device in a fully HDCP compliant way, not having to bother the installer with the question of how many keys does this sort of device have. This is a terminology that many of you are familiar with in the industry. How many keys does this HDMI source have? In other words, how many handshakes can this thing support? Let Key Digital take responsibility for the situation. We're not a manufacturer in the world of HDMI that says that is going to point fingers here or there saying, hey, it's not our fault, it's the source's problem or the display's problem. Instead, Key Digital takes responsibility for the situation, acting as the liaison, if you will, a buffer in the middle, handling all the communication, the traffic police officer, if you will, in the middle of the intersection. A similar type scenario, another regional retailer in the Mid-Atlantic area is Boscov's. They are a department store with 20+ locations, all wired with HDMI distribution equipment, enabling, again, 1080p, fully digital, 3D capable displays. And the really nice thing here is that, again, electronics retailers for years now, of course, have sold HDMI technology, have sold their customers HDMI 1080p until they're blue in the face, essentially. But until now, these retailers, they did not have HDMI backbone. They did not have an HDMI infrastructure in place until Key Digital was able to deliver this, and in a cost-effective way, versus some of the other means of distributing audio and video signals out there that A, doesn't look as good, B, isn't as reliable as Key Digital systems, and also C, just flat out isn't HDMI. Now Key Digital enabled Boscov's, enabled Flanners to not only say, hey, you should buy an HDMI display, and look at this, we have 60+ or 100+ displays, all wired via HDMI, but also, here's why you should buy HDMI. Look for yourself, see the advantages, see the benefit of an HDMI picture, and certainly we can all agree that an HDMI picture does have a quality about it that is better than any other connectivity format in the industry. Now, retail vertical, the retail market, is really just one of the verticals that Key Digital is active in, and the Key Digital product line enables you to become active in. I like to think of Key Digital as as offering a full circle solution of video systems. The full circle, everything within that circle to enable the full circle of connectivity that we'll discuss throughout this training curriculum is enabled by Key Digital's products line. However, as many of you may be sitting there viewing this at your desk and may have one of Key Digital's most recent catalogs there beside you, you'll notice we do not have a catalog that's the size of a phone book. Instead, our products are engineered with versatility in mind, and we may not make a product that specifically with the goal of installing it in the healthcare or the church installation market. Instead, the versatility really allows Key Digital products to be brought into these applications by our various partners, by our dealers and installers, consultants, etc., that are familiar with our product and are confident in our product. And that's really been the way for over 12, 13 years now. Key Digital has entered the markets. Is really we've created products not with a specific application in mind, but really the products take us into these different verticals, and that just speaks to the quality, the performance, the reliability, the versatility of these products that are out there. So here you have a look at some of the various markets that Key Digital products are being installed to very commonly in the commercial side of things, whether it be the churches, education, corporate AV, boardrooms, courtrooms, etc. And in the residential side of things, home theater, a single zone system, certainly multi-zone video distribution is really the pinnacle of what Key Digital can offer, going from beyond just one room and having a nice home theater room, but having every room in the system with a video display on the wall, enabling that very nice look of just a display on the wall, no wires hanging below, no furniture, etc. That behind the scenes sort of feature is really, that behind the scenes connectivity is what Key Digital is all about. So here, as I was alluding to that full circle of video connectivity, it's interesting. I mean, you think about what many of us in the industry, we explain to our families, mothers, fathers, wives, brothers, sisters, etc. What do you do for a living? Well, as a manufacturer of video distribution products, you can't really say video distribution because they think that you sell movies into blockbuster videos. Boy, that's really going to be dating this training curriculum at some point in the not too distant future by referencing Blockbuster. But anyhow, really just the whole behind the scenes connectivity that enables all of your gear to be located in a central location, all of your source equipment, switchers, scalers, matrixing, distribution equipment, along with the rest of the audio equipment from other partner manufacturers, etc., of course, located in that rack, and having your displays across the installation site, on the wall, or at its installation location there, without more than a single wire leading to it, yet providing access to a variety of sources from various formats. And that's really what Key Digital enables. Whether you need a switcher scaler to adapt, convert, and rescale a video format, a balun to get you from point A to point B, a matrix to enable many sources to many displays. Key Digital has that full circle of connectivity enabling this video system without, again, I emphasize this because it's very it's a huge benefit of working with us without the catalog the size of the phone book, so that it enables you to become familiar with our products in a way that is not labor intensive, in a way that is uses logic, and enables you to become very familiar with our products without having to take wild guesses at the systems that you're building. So let's go ahead and look at what are the type of products, the product categories that are required to create a full circle video system. And this, again, being that it's level 1 part 1, is going to be some pretty general information, but for some of us out there, this is actually going to be the first time you've had it presented to you this way, and I like to call this way the case of the ones and the manys, and the manys and the ones. Whenever your client needs to extend video, audio, and control, and you have CAT cabling, then you know that's going to require a Cat 5 or Cat 6 Balun device. Key Digital has many Balun devices. Again, we've discussed this earlier, but from the analog video types to the digital video types, going beyond just video, audio, control, etc. And here's where we start these manys and ones. If your client has many sources and would like to connect that to just one display, you're going to need a video switcher. If your client has one source and would like to go to many displays, a distribution amplifier. If your client has many sources and would like to go to many displays with that and have any display view any source at any time in any combination, whether analog or digital, Key Digital enables that sort of system with our matrix switchers. Certainly that's the pinnacle, that's the combination of a switcher and a distribution amp, and really our bread and butter here at Key Digital. If your client has sources of various video and audio formats that would need to be converted, scaled, and again provide a one-wire solution, a video processor, also known as a switcher scaler. And finally, whenever your client needs the best-in-class HDMI cable, not worrying about are these features met, are these features of the latest HDMI standard met, and the speeds, etc. Key Digital makes best-in-class interconnect cables for HDMI all the way up to 75 feet long, and starting at a foot, 1.5 feet long rather. So whether it's 1.5 feet or 75 feet, you know that the Key Digital cable has the top of the line specs all the way across the board, and you never have to sacrifice quality, performance, reliability, anything like that. The Key Digital Python series HDMI cables enable that all the way up to 75 feet long, and can guarantee that you're going to get there with that video signal. We used to make cables all the way up to 100 and 125 feet, and it's not that they didn't work. The only reason we don't manufacture them any longer is because so much of that business has gone the way of the Cat 5, Cat 6 Balun device, and certainly you'll see why as we dig a little further into that product category. Now, here's a sample of what kind of video systems can be enabled when you use that complete connectivity solution that Key Digital is able to deliver. Here's a sample of how they all fit together. Many video sources to many video displays. We discussed that. A video matrix switch. As we discussed, that is certainly the bread and butter here at Key Digital. We have multiple displays. In this case, 12 projectors and multiple sources. In this case, 4 different sources, and even of varying formats. Let's go ahead and make our video connections from the VGA sources directly into the matrix. Many audio sources to many audio zones. Now, interestingly enough here, and you'll know it like the back of your hand at the end, by the time the training curriculum is completed, MSW CAT does handle video and does handle audio. Here's going to be a system where the audio is going to stay local in the equipment rack to feed some amplifiers. So we will, in fact, feed left and right analog audio from each of the 4 sources to feed into our audio matrix, the KD MSA 8x16. And like I said, not only is our product catalog nice, concise, succinct, and to the point, Our nomenclature is actually very simple to understand as well. KD, of course, key digital, MSA, matrix switch audio, 8x16, 8 ins, 16 outs, all left and right feeding into this MSA 8x16, where we're going to have volume control, we're going to have lip sync control, multi-band EQ, etc. And then finally, your system requirement number 3, format conversion, where you have the 2 component video sources that you saw were not connected. Converting those from component to VGA and scaling that resolution. We have the KD VP 1250 and the KD VP 750 that we're able to insert in line there to take the component video high resolution source, high def resolution source through the VP 1250, convert that to VGA to connect into the matrix, and finally the DVD at standard definition to go in through our KD VP 750 scaler to feed into the matrix at a VGA output at, say 1280 by 1024, for example, a standard computer resolution. And finally, system requirement number 4 was extending. You see, you had the projectors, you have the matrix. How do you get from point A to point B? Well, Cat5 cabling, Cat6 cabling is certainly the number one way to do that in today's environment, in today's installation. And we have the receive balun, where very nice, very conveniently, you're able to just plug in your RJ45 to the back of the MSW Cat switcher. Again, just as the nomenclature, very simple, as the model number implies. The matrix, the KD MSW Cat 8x16, has Cat5 built in, has the RJ45 port built in, enabling us to connect these 12 projectors with 12 of our KD CVA RX component or VGA plus audio receive baluns, single cat back to the rack, and plug it in at each location for the projector. Okay, so now that we've gone over the history of Key Digital, given you a glimpse into the beginnings of our company and how we've morphed and evolved to where we are currently today as the leaders in digital video technology and solutions, and also giving you just a really scratch the surface on the sort of solutions that our company's products enable and as far as video applications go, and also the sort of markets that our products are being installed into, and the sort of markets that your company can be installing into. Let's take it to the next step here, where we want to take a few minutes to introduce you to some of the value-added resources that we have available to you. Some of them are marketing related, some of them are sales related. Certainly the system design group is more technical related, and certainly something that we probably view here as one of the top resources that our dealers, our partners take full advantage of. System design group, also known as SDG, is a portion of our technical group, technical support, system design, etc., where essentially you will have access to your own personal design team. Now, many of our partners, of course, have design professionals, have people within their organization whose job you yourself may even be that person within your company to design these video systems, the AV systems. The system design group is especially important, though, as an educational tool. Okay, we're not out there to replace other people's job and telling you that you don't need them. Instead, we're certainly a resource to complement that, because especially in today's age of digital video, it's important to get the factory stamp of approval that this system is going to work as needed by you and your customer and perform and deliver what you and your client need. And System Design Group is a way to achieve that, to really get that factory stamp of approval for functionality and operability. Additionally, the System Design Group database is out there as a reference tool for you to search maybe some comparable installations. Of course, it's not a custom system design that results through our database inquiries, our queries. Instead, the database is there for you to say, hey, I have a system design. It's going to require about 6 sources, about 40 displays. We're going to have cat cable. What else is out there that Key Digital System Design Group has already created to really just kind of lead me in the right direction? Maybe from that point you choose to then contact SDG with your system design. And really this is a 100% free service for all of our dealers and partners. Um, uh, it is, again, a way of getting that factory stamp of approval for functionality and operability. It's a way to ensure that you have the current products into your current system. It's a way to also ensure you get the job. For example, many times you're going in on a competitive proposal, competitive bidding sort of situation, and you may have the resources there and the time to really only allow you to go in with one proposal. Here it is. In other cases, though, SDG is able to put together not only a best type application design, but even if you were to tell us, hey, let's go in there with the good solution and the best solution, so that whether it is the good or it is the best, we're the one getting the job, and we're using Key Digital 100% of the way. So Key Digital wins, you as the installer win, and you as our partner win. Now, page 1, as you can see, is a very nice, easy, clean to read, professional looking schematic of the system. That reads easily from left to right. You can see also page 2 is kind of tucked behind page 1 there. It's a full-out equipment list of all the Key Digital gear required to enable the system. Oftentimes, if you provide us with some additional peripheral type equipment, for example, audio amplifiers, control systems, etc., we're going to go ahead and put that in there as well. As long as there's enough room on the page for it. This is more, of course, we're more concerned with the video and connectivity of the system. But System Design Group, we're putting together millions of dollars worth of systems each month, and certainly it's about a 2-day turnaround time from when you get us the information to when we're able to respond to you with this completed diagram. If you need it a little sooner, usually we can at least provide you an equipment list, and definitely whether you are one of our distributors, one of our reps, Key Digital, there's somebody more related in the sales portion of it, an extremely valuable tool as well, not just for the installers out there. So send all of your SDG requests to SDG, again, System Design Group at keydigital.com. The next value proposition that we'll discuss here is our knowledge sensor. Knowledge sensor is a fantastic resource we have under the technical section of the keydigital.com website. These are white papers that are written by Mike Sandberg. Mike, again, the #1 video patent holder in the world with 40 patents under his belt. Not a bad person to get some information from. It's information that not only pertains to what's happening today and next year and maybe even 2 years from now, but even perhaps offering a glimpse at technology 5-10 years from now, and certainly unlocking and revealing a lot of the information that unfortunately would be a mystery without a resource like the Key Digital Knowledge Sensor. So you go on there, you're able to find non-biased, technical white papers written by Mike that is nice and concise. Usually the white papers are about 3 to 5 pages long, and you have white papers on there, for example, in the knowledge sensor, such as how to make HDMI plug and play versus plug and pray, where we refer to and educate on EDID and HDCP and this alphabet soup that is, again, a mystery to most people until you're able to really read something like that. And certainly that's something that Key Digital, the entire Key Digital staff is trained on from A to Z, and you can be too with the Key Digital Knowledge Sensor. Online training modules, such as the one that you are taking right now. A few years back, not only Key Digital, but many companies had to transition to a more online-centric marketing methods, or training methods rather. And Key Digital, we have that here with our online training modules, level 1X, level 2X, level 3X. We initially, our very first online training module made available was a few years ago. Certainly the content on that training module still is very relevant. The model numbers, for example, may be dated in many cases, but the goal and the teaching of it, building a full system, is still very relevant. So check that one out as well. Whereas in this level 1X, 2X, 3X updated here, we're going to be discussing more about transition to digital and digital video and how to make that work and that sort of thing. Again, the how to build systems using video categories, video product categories, still, of course, very relevant information. And essentially, just a few years ago, companies, not only the manufacturers, but also the dealers, the installers, the partners, just didn't have time to spare to have in-person trainings, the expenses of the flights, all of the reasons why an online training curriculum is just that much more efficient and allowing you to do everything on your own time versus taking out of your day, out of your busy day. We know, we respect that. And you see here all of the bullet points as to why an online training curriculum is advantageous to you. And again, we certainly appreciate you acknowledging that. Key Digital Online Webinar Series happens right now. It's about one a week, maybe one every 2 weeks, but we do have all of our webinars listed on our website. Again, keydigital.com. You just go to the technical section. You'll see the webinar page for a full calendar. Usually we have about 6 months in advance all the webinars posted. The content, the discussions will cover anything from new products to overall looks at technologies, to some in-depth information about specific products, how to really take advantage of some of the most in-depth and technical features of products that perhaps without a webinar to go through would really be a difficult feature to really take advantage of. But it's there in the Key Digital products with some very advanced products available in the marketplace today from us. It's certainly something that you just take an hour out of your day on a Friday or on a Wednesday, whenever the schedule tells you there. You'll see that it's going to be well worth your time. Additionally, training videos, introduction type videos, overviews are available on YouTube, and many of our webinars after the live presentation, they are recorded and uploaded to the Key Digital YouTube page within just a few days. That YouTube address is www.youtube.com/MashaKDS. That's Masha spelled M like mother, A-S-H-A. That is the name of our marketing executive. Masha KDS, as in Masha Key Digital Systems. Jump on there and you'll see a full variety of online resources there to really help you learn about products in brief before you get them in your own hands and really put them in the rack and install them for your applications. So again, you have your pen handy. Take down this information. SDG@keydigital.com for the System Design Group. Please reach out to us there, or even call the technical support line where SDG and technical support will answer. It's 914-667-9700 extension 3 to reach either tech support or System Design Group, or you can email tech@keydigital.com. For sales related inquiries, 914-667-9700 extension 2, or email sales@keydigital.com. Additionally, we also have orders@keydigital.com for your orders, submissions, and inquiries. So please take all of this information down. We, not only through this training, but also in many ways, want to open a discussion, a forum with you, a dialogue that certainly you will see firsthand the amount of service that Key Digital can provide you, the amount of service that the amount of value that we place in our partners, and we thank you very much for reciprocating that. So just to look real quick, this was level 1, part 1, the introduction to Key Digital. We introduced you to Mike Sandberg, the president and chief engineer of the company. We introduced you to our company and some of the significant achievements in our company history, and as those fell in time with some of the other significant achievements in the industry as a whole. We talked about the sort of systems that Key Digital enables, building the full system, and we even looked in depth at some of the larger type of systems that Key Digital can enable, even in the HDMI world, such as the retail installation market, where many other manufacturers just aren't able to even touch that sort of installation type with a 10-foot stick. We looked at how you build a full circle video system with Key Digital's product lines, and certainly we're going to go in more depth on each of those product lines throughout the curriculum. And we discussed within our value proposition the value-added resources we have, System Design Group, the Knowledge Center, online training, the training videos on YouTube, etc., and how to contact Key Digital, whether it be sales or technical or orders related type inquiry. Up next will be level 1, part 2, the key AV essentials. What do you need in every single AV installation, and what Key Digital offers in those. And again, we thank you very much for viewing level 1, part 1. We'll see you on level 1, part 2.